the universe. Snout, Spout. His knockout nose knocks evil out.
It's Hordak!
I have the power.
Figures sold separately. Snout, Spout. Heroic hose nose.
Hello, welcome to Master Powercast. Tyler, our focus tonight, our character spotlight, the heroic water blasting firefighter himself, Snout Spout, entering the vintage line, Wave 5, 1986, alongside Rio Blast Extendar, a smattering of the Snake Man. He's an odd, I think odd's too harsh for word. I think
people tend to label him as odd, I think unfairly.
I think one of the figures coming across in the line is kind of one of those first ones. I guess you kind of get a lot of that in Wave 5, that it's like, all right, taking a little bit more of a different approach here with our heroic warriors to a degree. But I guess it is just the elephant head compared to everything else. It sticks out. And I think if you're seeing that on the shelf and you know nothing about the character as a kid, you gotta, how could you not, right? Just immediately hone in on that.
Yeah, and yet when he's brought up, or people have always lumped him in, is like, yeah, this is one of the reasons why the line starts to fail, is because that wave. I'm like, I don't buy that for a second. I just think it was just a matter of timing, where 85 was the most profitable year of the run, and for whatever reason, a lot of the fans just decided to move on to either other toy lines, if they've strictly gotten too old to play with toys, or various other things are pulling their attention. And this group, they just benefited from how prosperous that 85 wave was. Like they made so much money in 85. Like we can put a lot of new tooling and not reuse legs and torsos and arms and heads, and just make a full brand new stock of heroic characters and new villains, and make a new faction. And I'm like, to me, that was Mattel investing in their line. I'm like, and the people just want to come in and take that big Dairy Queen soft serve shit all over it, as if Mattel didn't know what the fuck they were doing, and this is why the line, like, you motherfuckers.
Well, let's go ahead. We'll start getting into the slides here. All of these images, of course, came from Battle Ram blog. Link is down below. Go visit the site. It's a great resource.
Oh, wonderful! I frequent it a lot, just when I like to just look at good images and hear Adam's stories about his first introductions to the characters, which is always fascinating to hear.
Yeah, it's always nice to hear from other people that have enjoyed the property, much like yourself. When were you first introduced to this character? When did you see it? I guess we can kind of talk about that now, because for me, Snout Spout, I never saw this figure anywhere. Like I often mention, the vast majority of the vintage line that I did see would be yard sales, flea markets. Snout Spout was one I feel like I never saw out in the wild when I was younger.
Yeah, I never saw him at all. And I had Rio Blast. I had the three main Snake Men from the 86, or from Wave 5, came out in 86. But I had no, and I'm certain that on the Rio Blast packaging, and I could probably verify it over here, but he is on the back of the packaging. But for whatever reason, it just kind of went over my head, and I wouldn't actually see my first impression until I saw the promo for the Christmas special. And you see him with his nose extending, putting the star on the tree, and I was so fixated from that moment of like, oh my, who's this elephant guy? And it wouldn't be until 5th grade, and I think, I don't know if I was looking at Toy Price Guys or anything like that, because I hadn't been introduced to the internet, hadn't come along yet. So I just knew that there was a figure of him. And I remember talking to Andrew Mason, which I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. He was a grade below us, and was just talking to him that I still liked He-Man. He's like, yeah, my brother's got some of those things, and I got some of them too. And like, I said, you want to trade? And I asked him who he had, and I described, like, do you have this elephant guy? He said, oh yeah, I got him. Said, I'll trade you the Predator clan leader from the Kenner toy line for him. So we made this deal out in the hallway, because I didn't want people to see me with toys, because they're like, oh my God, we're in 5th grade, he's got toys, right, and old toys at that.
Yeah.
From people who just thought like they were too fucking cool.
That's very interesting. And we often kind of gloss over that.
And that wouldn't be the first time I did that, though. I did a lot of secret deals for He-Man toys with other classmates because I didn't want people to know that I not only was still, I still had toys in hand, but it was a toy line from when we were all much younger, which would.
That's the fascinating part to me, is that during that time period, you were seeking this vintage. Well, I mean, you can't really say vintage yet around that time.
Boy, I didn't even know what that word meant, but it was like, I just knew that there were He-Man figures I never owned. I'm like, they made figures of them. They got to be out there.
And you wanted them like years later.
This was 94, 95. And I think even a couple years before that too, another classmate of mine traded me Jitsu, and I think Steel Will from Silverhawks, and I think maybe even Buzzsaw from Silverhawks, just because I was putting out feelers of like of old toys with individuals I felt like I could trust.
Right.
That they're not going to go, hey, he still likes toys, and everyone point and laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I would trade them toys as well. So we were in the same boat. So
do you remember what you traded specifically to them to get those?
Like I said,
because it was oddly specific that you're like, yes, this Predator figure from the
because I just bought. I hadn't had it too long because I remember seeing the commercial for the Predator toy line a lot, and they introduced the Clan Leader. I'm like, oh, I gotta have that. And then I just was like thinking something to barter with, and I was like, I got the Predator Clan Leader from the Predators. Like, I'll take that. Said, all right, I'll bring it tomorrow.
At this point, does your parents find out that you're doing this? Are they upset? They're like, hey, that's a newer toy that you gave away to get these older toys? Or
no clue, because I didn't tell them, because as far as it was, I didn't see anything wrong with it, of course. And I mean, it's toys, and they're just seem kind of oblivious to that kind of thing. With the other stuff, I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade, and I can't remember what it was specifically that I traded Jamie Taylor for Jitsu, Steel Will, and I think Buzzsaw. Only thing I also remember is that he had the Iron Man figure from the Marvel Superheroes Toy Biz line, which I thought that was a big damn deal, because I had not seen it in person before, and he brought it and showed it to me. Like, oh, it's so fucking cool. But I can't remember what else I traded him for those, and I think that was the only ones I traded. And then I do remember Jesse Tinsley told me that he had like what he described as a 3D figure of He-Man, which was the wall plaque.
Oh, okay.
So I gave him something, or he brought it to me and gave it to me the next day at school, because it was just, something that, again, is being discarded by kids our age who are not interested anymore.
And at this point, when you're getting this stuff, especially the figures, is it much like we've discussed before? You just get it, you admire it, and then you just set it on the shelf for display, right?
Yeah. At that point, I think come 5th grade. Yeah, 5th grade, because that's when we did the addition on the house, when I had a brand new room, my own full room, and I tried to make a diorama. And when I say diorama, setting up figures in a big plastic tub, because I didn't have anything else to set them in. And I was like, I was trying to recreate the assault on Castle Grayskull from Diamond Ray Disappearance. And I'm missing most of the cast.
Well,
but just trying to, in my mind, like, I know I'd seen images from the catalogs and various other things in magazines of toys being on display in these cool battle scenes. And like, I want to do that. I'm like, this sucks. I have nothing else to go with. It's sitting in this turquoise tub. And it's very, very lackluster. One of the biggest things, and we've talked about this before, about how nervous you were for me to see your collection on display, but that was the biggest takeaway when I finally saw that. I was like, man, this just looks so cool with everything laid out like that. And then I'm like, I got to do that. And then here we are. Look at this all these years later. It's like you are mostly to blame for that, I believe, but in a good way. I would take full credit for that. And you talk about what a burden off my shoulders, man. Like, I just knew going to school on Monday, like, I'm going to get roasted in front of everybody,
Well, because, I mean, I can think of, you're one of those few kids. I mean, with Master Universe, that's never really left display focus in any livable space that you've had since you were a kid. And that's very impressive that it never all got packed away. There was always something out there on display. But we were mentioning earlier about the design of Snout Spout, and you were talking about all these other characters and like the kind of how people were perceiving them and the downfall, as it were, of the line. So I guess this is kind of like when you look at it, Snout Spout, Rio Blast, Extendar, those are names that come to mind when people start to mention, oh, this is when the toy line started to suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would just love to bring this up and show the people who just love to shit on these characters in this wave. And like, okay, I don't understand what the hell is so where's the lacking quality? Where's like you tell these guys don't look cool standing next to He-Man, and that includes the Rock Warriors as well. Like
Yeah.
I just think they look so fucking amazing. That the face sculpts. The only thing I would say, and I was when I say a bit bummed, I mean like quietly, was that Snout Spout's eye expression was not as aggressive.
Yeah, he looks kind of just sad.
Yeah, and I that was the only thing I didn't, and of course I didn't have the axe when I got him secondhand from Andrew at school. It was just him, but he was intact, everything. I didn't know how the water function worked or that even had a function. I just knew it's the elephant guy I've coveted for since 1989.
Right.
You know, like I finally have him. And I was just kind of just a little bummed that his eyes just made him look kind of sad. And then when I would read Eye of the Storm, oh, he's depicted as like, oh, look at me, I'm an elephant man, and I shoot water. Feel sorry for me, like.
Yeah. And we will get to that part here momentarily, but this spot right here. So, according to the Power and Honor Foundation catalog, Snout Spout, first called Hose Nose, was conceived of by Roger Sweet, with Ted Mayer following up with the visual design. So,
and I like the concept illustration of Snout Spout. It looks badass, looks great.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about the eyes. It's like, that would. I kind of wish
why
they changed. Why they changed that? They probably should.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like I know Rio Blast and Extendar and Rock On and Stone Dome have these aggressive looks on their faces, but they don't look like, you know, someone pissed on my hush puppies. You know.
Yeah, and, they don't look like Tyler sitting at a McDonald's with the sad Phil Collins song playing, and he's got
a shitty Hot Fudge Sundae.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's some more concept designs.
Which just it's so cool to see that they really wanted to bring in an elephant type character.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of when you really think about it, it's a very interesting choice. It's like, yeah, we're gonna go with elephant.
Yeah,
because normally they kind of sway more towards lizard.
Well, that and
designs.
the creatures, especially in the '84 wave, because you've got Whiplash, Clawful, Webstar, Cobra Khan, all kind of animal-like hybrids with humans, but they're not full like animal. You know, I always think of Whiplash as being more like an alligator because of the tail, the way the tail looks, and everything. You know, Cobra Khan's a snake man, Webstar is a spider man, and Clawful is a lobster man. But they look like a beautiful amalgam of those things. Whereas like Snout Spout is like full on. No, it's a man who's an elephant,
right,
or a humanoid elephant. Like we're not going to say that there's kind of a mishmash of more human and everything. Like, no, he's got a full on elephant head with cybernetic parts. And you know, I think it's like, why not?
Right. It's funny though seeing this listed, the firefighter elephant man. It's like, okay, obviously early designs, of course, but you would think that instead of just having this long-winded firefighter elephant man, that they would have either Hose Nose, Snout Spout, something, or maybe even something else just as short would have kind of preceded the events before we landed on a final name.
I can appreciate that, you know, we don't know what we're going to call this guy, but this is what his purpose is going to be, is he's going to be a firefighter who is an elephant.
Yeah, but also this design here has some...
Yeah, the tusks.
Yeah.
Looks so fucking cool, man. Like, oh, that'd have been such a nice touch to put on the vintage figure, man.
Yeah, well, it's all... And then, you know, obviously now, all these years later, you look at a character like Tuscador.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it looks fucking incredible. But yeah, any of the designs here, like, imagine the tusks with the other eyes, too. Like,
oh, man. Like,
could honestly easily be a villain with that sort of design.
Yeah, and you know, which I feel like there was like a concept of like a mastodon horde villain, which kind of feels like almost like a bit of a precursor or or maybe a different direction they thought about going in with the kind of elephant-like character. Because I think the Mastodon was almost like a precursor to Grizzlor, if I remember correctly. But you almost kind of feel like you could almost like maybe that concept, like, hey, well, we can still run with the elephant kind of thing, and maybe make him a hero instead. And it's beautiful across. See, the eyes look a little bit better right there. It's like he looks focused.
Yeah, but also same time, still kind of on the other end of kind of sad eyes.
Yeah. And there's the one of the prototypes.
Yeah, which this is really interesting. Having the orange head with black ears.
All these He-Man prototypes have always got they're just like a rainbow of colors. Like I've seen a lot of them over the years. And
I guess that's just kind of one of the things too. Is just we have these parts. Who cares what color they are? We're just putting it together so we can kind of have get to our final design. But I don't know. To me, there's something really interesting too about just the way the coloring here is on the legs.
Yeah. I mean, some of those colors. I mean, obviously the gloves, made the cut, and the color of the trunk there too.
Yeah.
And it has like a Beastman color scheme here.
Yeah.
which looks cool.
And then we kind of see the inner mechanics here.
The apparatus that controls the water pump and how it spews out the trunk.
Yeah. How were you in general with sort of just water guns in general? For me, it was aside from the Super Soaker, I was never like, even like the little water pistols. I'm like, I don't care about this.
I loved. I mean, the cheap plastic ones that were like various like see-through colors, like green, pink, or blue. Like they were fun because they were cheap and people would give them to you all the time. And Super Soaker was like the coveted thing, which we never actually owned one until my brother got one for his birthday that he used his birthday. I bought the big $50 one.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was like, oh my God, this is like Blaine's Gatling gun, old painless. That's how what I attributed it to as a kid.
And here we are with what we got on the shelf. I mean,
his eyes don't, they look, again, they don't look sad.
Yeah. Doesn't look as bad, but
but he just the color scheme, the orange, the blue, the fuchsia, the black. It's a great color scheme.
Yeah,
it's just it works great. That the cybernetic elephant head looks amazing. I'm like, I just don't get it. It's not just because I have a lot of nostalgia and fondness for I generally thought like an elephant He-Man character that's a good guy. Like, oh my God, like dude. You probably couldn't have pulled it from my hands to let us check out had I got this at Hills, and because I just never saw them on the racks that were selling He-Man toys at the time at Hills.
Yeah.
And if I had, you bet your ass, I would have probably passed up down there everybody else, to get my hands on him.
Yeah, it's like as I mentioned earlier, if you're looking at these at just face value and see this, how would you not immediately be drawn to it? But here we have them men on card. And we get the mini comic that Tyler was talking about, which we will kind of get to a couple of those pages here momentarily.
It just looks great on card with that exploding red rock and the metallic lettering. I mean, he just looks like, oh my God, the adventure to be had with this guy, And unfortunately, as we've discussed in a previous episode, his card art, as an adult, leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah, it's just the perspective of the whole thing is entirely wrong here.
Yeah, I think having him like lunged over in a very like aggressive manner with his balled fist and his arms kind of pulled back and extending like the nose out to hit him with like a massive fire hose spray, like that would have gotten over the impact of like this very aggressive firefighter.
And make sure that you fill it with clean water, not piss or soda or anything like that. You make sure you put it in
which
clean
I'm sure
water.
some juvenile dumbass.
Oh, dude,
like, I'm gonna pee in it.
Some kid did. Sprayed their friends with it, or like,
here, you Thursday, I'll call you off a Snout Spout here and like piss in my mouth or some shit like that. So,
it's
the kind of kids that like to shoot animals with BB guns and tear their toys up and bury them in the backyard.
Yeah, it's like Sid from Toy Story.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, one of those kids probably filled this up. I can't sit and say
those kids fit like a certain demographic, but we all knew a kid who was like that, who was just like, okay, you're not coming over and playing with my toys.
Yep, and probably had lice a time or two.
lice, stunk,
Yeah.
or just bad everything.
Yeah, it's just even thinking about that, it's like, ugh, onions,
Yeah.
But it tells you how to operate. Pour the clean water, push the button on the back, and he squirts a jet spray, direct spray up, down, or to the side. So it's just a fun gimmick. Like
It is. It's
yeah.
I mean, because I adored Cobra Khan. I love spraying the water mist on my face. So had I had Snout Spout, I would have played with him a lot. He would have been the kind of character I would have just like, okay, you can bring a toy with you, Tyler, just one toy. So I would probably grab Snout Spout and take him with me on a trip or something like that.
Interesting, some of the choices that we have here.
And I like that. I like seeing, part of the roster from the previous year, from '85, with the new Heroic Wars introduced, along with 2 new Heroic Wars and the new variant of He-Man, and the introduction of the Snake Men, and repurposing Cobra Khan, and getting the new variant of Skeletor. Like it's a good mishmash of the previous year with here. Look at this brand new roster of characters we got, people.
Yep. And here we go with the style guide. So we have our character profile here, which says Snout Spout was an Etherian peasant who was turned into a bizarre creature by Hordak. After crossing the plane into Eternia with the evil horde, Snout Spout escaped and joined He-Man. Snout Spout is very self-conscious about his appearance, feels that everyone is always laughing at him. However, his power to drench evil attacks make him a true hero in Eternia.
Yeah, I don't get that logic at all of like people are laughing at me because you're a fucking elephant, dude, man. Like one of the most favorite creatures in the animal kingdom. Like there's nothing you could tell me that would be okay. That makes sense. One of the most strongest animals on the planet, and I'm supposed to feel sorry for you?
It just the way that you were wording that makes me think of John Peters when he's talking to Kevin Smith about, you should put this in the Superman movie. You know why?
Oh yeah, because yeah.
And I said, you want me to write a scene where Brainiac is razzling polar bears? And he says, yeah, you know anything about polar bears? And I said, no, I don't. He's like, polar bears are the fiercest killers in the animal kingdom.
Yeah, I did just channel some John Peters.
Yeah.
That crazy fuck.
No, I mean, like, I get it, and I'm with you on one end, and at the other end, like, I get it, because having that sort of appearance, whether you're badass or not, I think everyone kind of goes through that self-doubt of, like, I'm ugly, or maybe people think I'm ugly, or whatever. Everyone goes through it, but I guess to maybe implement it in this regard might be it's a little too far-fetched.
If they're trying to add personality, because up to that point we're not dealing with any of the heroic warriors who are dealing with insecurities and self-consciousness,
right?
And the Stendar in the same year is not feeling like he's much of a hero, which gets these extraordinary powers, and then when you see him again in Snake Attack, he's like, I don't know, I'm just not as great as He-Man. Like, dude, enough with the self-doubt shit, and because they don't do that with Rio Blast at all. Like, they kind of all over the place with him. He's a Western stereotype, Tar Nation and Dadgummit and all this bullshit.
Dadgummit.
Yeah.
Suffering succotash.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't work. You've got these great visuals, these awesome looking characters, and to even depict them as like a trio of buddies.
Yeah.
Especially Stendar and Snout Spout both being, the creations of Hordak. They have a lot in common, and we've touched on that on a previous episode too. Like, that's something that should have really played up the fact that if you're going to have 2 of these guys as creations of Hordak, that would create a legitimate friendship between these 2, thinking that they're going to be one. Obviously, like Snout Spout was clearly taken against his will. You kind of feel like Stendar wanted to be something greater. Hordak's like, I'll turn you into what you want, you and your buddy. I'll turn him into a dragstore, and I'll turn you into, the Tower of Power. You'll be bigger than everybody else. You'll be stronger than everybody else, but you'll work for me, in his mind. And and then thinking, Snout Spout didn't get something he got something he didn't want. Stendar got something he thought he wanted, and they just realized, that, oh my God, what are we? And it's like, no, you guys have been given great powers. You can use these for good, as opposed to what they were given to you, with the intention behind it. And there's a lot of fun to be had. And with Snout Spout, like, seeing him like with an invasion storyline, with like having him look aggressive and angry, with his axe. Give him like a different axe, and then when he decides to become a heroic firefighter, give him something that's more fitting as a fire axe.
Right.
And he's just like, I can't use this. And just seeing him going along with Grizzlord and Montana and Leech and Hordak leading the way against the, trying to attack Castle Grayskull or attack the palace or attack, a local village that, Prince Adam happens to be in. And, Snout's best watching all this destruction and chaos. And it's like, I was a peasant before, like, and I'm supposed to go out and either take what these people have or take their lives. Because and just in the midst of the battle just starts putting out the fires, and He-Man notices like this horseman's out here trying to help me out, and then once the battle's over and Hordak's like, oh, leave him, he's dead weight anyway, let him get captured. And then he just sits there like, no, take me in. Like, no, I came with the Horde, but you were putting out the fires. Like, why? Because I was taken against my will, and Hordak was telling me this is what I was instructed to do, and I was just a peasant, elephant man. Like, I was just minding my own business, and he saw me and thought I could do something, turn me into something grander and more with more purpose. And I see all these people screaming and yelling, kids are crying, and women are afraid, and they're afraid of me.
Yeah.
And then He-Man's like, they don't have to be anymore. And it's like, I'm not going to arrest you. I think we know I have a good place for you. And he's like, you what? And let him a rock quarry? He's like, no, with me and my allies.
Once it's as we've talked about so many times, like off the cuff, right there. And obviously, you've been thinking about this sort of thing, but just so the potential.
Oh God, it's frustrating, especially when you see how poorly he was portrayed in the She-Ra cartoon.
Yeah, and we will get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that too. But it's
shortly
just like,
as well.
My God, the only time I felt like, and he wasn't even really Snout Spout, was when Val and Emiliana were working on the MV Creations comic, and you see in the second issue, the firefighting unit is dressed in the same colors and a helmet that it's very Snout Spout inspired, which I thought, oh my God. I was like, that was so cool. But at that time made me think, is Snout Spout like a human? But and then looking back, it's just their take on it, because they were not allowed to do any characters that Mattel was like, you can't do that. It's not the cartoon right yet. We don't have toy right now. We're trying that cowboy bullshit.
But this one here, so we go from the style guide. This is the fact file from the UK. I looked up the weight because we have him here at 102 kilograms. This puts him at 224 pounds.
Gosh, I weigh more than he does.
Seems kind of light to me, but how do you feel about the aspect here of He-Man and Man-at-Arms have promised to help change Snout Spout back to his human form?
No.
You don't like that aspect at all, that he would want to revert back to being a human?
No, because that's when I feel like, first, not being human, out of the question. I do not want to see this awesome looking character realize that he was just a human before with a cybernetic elephant head. I want to see him as an elephant humanoid, that was taken against his will. I think he's turned into this monstrosity for evil, and then starts to realize that these powers he can use for good and do a lot of, helping, He-Man and the rest of the heroic warriors and people who are in trouble, and especially putting out fires.
This part of it at the end, Snout Spout's best friend is Orko, and the diminutive sorcerer has helped train him in the art of firefighting. It's like,
that's a crock of shit.
He doesn't need Orko's help for that.
Orko's pals with everybody. I don't need to see him. Like that. I feel like see right here. Extendar just seems like he would be, the most natural ally, having gone through the experimenting of Hordak.
Yeah, but here we also get Snout Spout with that kick-ass design.
Yeah, the concept artwork, which kind of makes you feel like that it was. They usually go with this stuff when they feel like, okay, this is the character that's coming. This is what he's going to look like, and then obviously he was changed at some point afterwards. But this mini comic not good. Eye of the Storm not good. No, the artwork's not great, and again, it's just depicting him as this, even though He-Man is my friend, I just don't feel like one of the wars. Based on what? It's like, look at him. Look at him standing next to Tila. Who would fuck with this guy?
Yeah. And even Tila's saying, your job is very important. You're our firefighter. We rely on you to protect us. Like, why are you being such a sad sack of shit?
Because the writer didn't know what the fuck he was doing. You know, and you know, just and the illustration here, like I hate seeing like the Wind Rider look so teeny, like almost like a little a carnival ride.
Yeah. You know? Though, admittedly, if this had been a carnival ride as kids, that would have been amazing.
I've been all over it.
Or,
I mean, even though it's a good idea of like Snout Spout using aerosol to help put out, you know, fires and things like that. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but this is just
not.
But
just this ugly ass artwork and this lame ass story.
We actually have in our plans at some point down to do a mini comic makeover of this.
Yeah, which I almost kind of feel like, you know, what we've already talked about is kind of like, you know, what the mini comic makeover was going to be about. Like the Eye of the Storm, concept would be out the fucking door.
Yeah, Snout Spout, as Tyler mentioned, appeared in 3 episodes of the She-Ra cartoon under his working name, Hose Nose and Snout Spout. So Tyler, what were the 3 episodes that he?
Small Problems, Out of the Cocoon, and Day of the Flowers, and he's depicted very shitty in all 3. Speaks in 2 episodes and says nothing in 1 of them. And if that was it's George DeCinjo who does the voice of Hordak and Seahawk and the character of Sven, you know, Seahawk's first mate. That's the same voice for him is used for Snout Spout. When I first heard that, again, it's just like with Too Bad and Spiker, when you finally hear them talk for the first time, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It was just so disheartening that he's got this very high-pitched, squeaky voice.
Yeah. You look at the character, and who thought that would be a good idea? That this is the voice that we want coming out of this character. Just know it. That doesn't make any sense.
No, I just felt like their approach with a lot of the main characters and some episodes of She-Ra is almost like very emasculating.
Yeah.
Now, when you have strong characters like General Sunder and the Seahawk and Bo at times, and obviously He-Man, but then you bring in like Snout Spout, and you're just like, you know, and the Rock people were given like a decent, you know, introduction, but then it's a one and done thing. But Snout Spout, Hose Nose just kind of shows up, you know, and over waters, glimmers, flowers, like, oh no, I'm so sorry, in this, you know, really high pitched voice, and you know, another episode he's there to make, you know, shoot water out, and him and Frost are going to make ice donuts, you know, and then another episode in Small Problems, like Glimmer and She-Ra covered in this shit from the Horde, and we can locate Hose Nose. He'll spray us down, and he's just standing in the water when they're there, and it's like they just sprays him down. Like, thanks, Hose Nose, and he just walks away. That's it.
Wow,
it's so shitty.
Yeah, missed
and he
opportunity.
looked so good, like seeing him on screen. Like the formation look of him, I thought looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you look at the style guide of him, or just see him like standing there with like, you know, the Crow on Etheria. He looks great animated,
right?
But the minute he starts talking, just like, oh my, no. I mean, he's not walking around feeling sorry for himself by any means, but you wish he wasn't talking because the voice does not fit the character.
Because of the way that his elephant head is, would you kind of want it not necessarily robotic to sound like a robot, but obviously I feel like it needs to be a little muffled, a deeper voice.
Yeah, definitely a deep voice. When you're talking about an elephant, like, you know, and he's not an older character, you know, you feel like he needs to be a bit, you know, I'm trying to think.
I almost sound like it sounds, just looking at this, it sounds like there needs to be a reverb and a little bit of an echo effect applied to his
kind of like
voice
how Fisto
too.
talked.
Yeah.
You know, because Fisto has a human voice, but he has a big echo when he talks.
Yeah.
You know, but I still almost feel like the way Mechanic talked in his first appearance in Disappearing Dragons with this very robotic human voice.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it wouldn't have to be the exact same voice, but kind of going for the same effect.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is see, look at that. I just think that looks fantastic.
It does.
Yeah, I love it. It looks so good. It translated so damn good to the series.
Yeah, it just like makes some tweaks, kind of simplify some stuff a little bit. Yeah.
He looks wonderful. They did a great job with it. It's just why they felt the need to give him like this voices already been, which they would reuse a lot of voices for new characters because they're just saying, it doesn't matter. Kids are dumb. It's in syndication. They're not going to memorize. But I would start catching things like that from time to time. Like that's the same voice. That's the same voice. And yeah, when I heard Snout Spout speak, like, oh my god,
again.
Yeah.
So this comes from one of Tyler's favorites. This is issue 41 of the UK magazine.
Oh, so my nads are pumped right now.
This is the greatest sacrifice. But the most interesting thing about this is when we get to this and he's put into his human
Prince Adam.
He looks like Prince Adam. I'm like, that's a choice.
Yeah, and I don't agree with it. James, it's all your fault.
Yeah.
You think that's a good idea, James?
And here he is appearing in The Greatest Sacrifice Part 2. So this is later on in issue 41 of the UK magazine. Look how skinny
everyone is.
Yeah. I mean, that's always in times in the past when I've been involved in discussing the UK magazine. One of my biggest gripes, especially, is like how Hordak's drawn, but also just how slim most of the characters look in the art. And, eventually maybe we'll get to a point where I will find some stories in one of these UK magazines. I'm like, you know what? That was actually okay. As opposed to just like that, once again, missed opportunities.
And I almost feel like, is it always going to be like that with us? UK book where James like, these are the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, but I mean, look here. It's like, why make him
like? There was no thought put into that at all.
Unless
shorter hair, brown hair, red hair, black hair, blue hair, for crying out loud.
Now, admittedly, this is just a couple of pages that I pulled from Battle Ram blog, so I haven't read this entire story. Maybe there's a whole thing involved where he wants to look like the prince, and the chain. I don't know. I haven't read this specifically, but I just thought it was interesting. He looks like, okay, he just looks like.
Yeah, and I seem to recall that I had seen it before, but again, it was something I just didn't subscribe to because I've never bought the idea that he was human in once. And why does Rio Blast it just looks like he's wearing a helmet on his head.
Yeah.
As opposed to like that backpack is supposed to fold over on top of his head.
I don't know. I was just trying to read some of the dialogue here. Of course, we get, I reckon Hordak has us this time. And I get it. You kind of want him to have a little bit of a cowboy-esque, but also you don't need.
You could have him talk like Clint Eastwood. You could have him talk like Doc Holliday. You could have him talk a lot of cool cowboys. They don't have to be a fucking stereotypical, hee-haw.
Right. So yeah, maybe at some points I will
like right there. The illustration of Rio Blast right there looks so shitty.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like. It's like it's me as Rio Blast or something,
I wouldn't say that. But it's just it's terrible.
Yeah. So more UK stuff to come down the road.
It's just more and more of like why I just am not drawn to it. Like if I had seen this stuff when I was real little, I probably would have had
I think
I'd have been more open-minded because it's more He-Man stuff. I don't think I would have been a frequent like going back to it over and over again, like with the Golden Books,
right?
But it's more He-Man material, so I would at least give it a fair shot.
And you got to think, with this coming out in the UK, people like James, Aiden Cross, those guys are reading this stuff when they're kids, and they're like, yeah, like this is great. I understand that, but if you're looking at it fresh pair of eyes all these years later. You can see just like
Well, I just look at most of the Americans. I'm like, I'm sorry, but we got better stuff than the UK. I mean, not like this. This is American, and this is not great.
Yeah. So Snout Spout also appears in the fall '86 and '88 U.S. Master Universe magazine. So here's a couple of snippets of that here. So
Which,
I mean,
again,
honestly, this shot of Extendar, I mean,
like that looks that's cool, and I have always wanted to see like more like a battle sequence of like He-Man holding onto the battle tram like on the bottom, because there's like an evil warrior like on the inside of it trying to get to one of the other towers, and He-Man's like holding on trying to climb up to it, and Webster maybe swinging down trying to like snatch He-Man like and throw and take him to the ground there or something like that. I just felt like there was so much more fun to be had with that Eternity playset than what we got. story wise, and I like seeing Clan Champ and Snout Spout together.
Yeah, but also too, you kind of look at this like they're looking pretty slim themselves.
They do not look good. They don't. You know, even when I first got the magazines for the first time in hand in high school, you know, I'm like, yeah, it's more He-Man material. They're drawn very poorly, and the stories are just very dumbed down for babies. They're babies, like Shredder would say.
I mean, also too, you got to take into account like the stories in the U.S. magazine, very short. It's like the effort put into those, obviously not 100%.
Well,
I would say
that's what's so imbalanced, because people say, "Well, this is for kids." All right, Mr. Asshole. I present to you Exhibit A, the Golden Books, with these amazing covers, you know, by R.L. Allen and Earl Norm, and with Fred Carilla's artwork on the inside amongst other artists, and they treat the stories with dignity. They're simple stories, but they're not dumbed down and make it feel like it's He-Man slips on a banana peel. Skeletor left out for him. Aha! Well, the Gray Skull's mine now. And,
yeah.
It's like it does. It's not all the inconsistencies. And then you look at the magazine, you get these beautiful paintings on the covers with that Earl Norm's done, and these interior paintings that he's done. And then you get to the magazine store and like, what the hell is this shit?
Yeah, I think honestly with the magazines, the biggest selling point was just getting that poster.
The poster in the
center.
That's all I would have been had I known about it when I was. I didn't find out about the magazine until I think the early '90s, and that kid that I told you that Matt Hilton was friends with that had everything. The Attorney playset, the USS Flag. Mm-hmm. He had the movie issue with the Earl Norm painting of He-Man fighting Blade, because Matt would describe that poster to me. I'm like, oh my god, he has that, and I'm like, oh, this is just it's unbelievable, man. I don't know where the hell I'm going with this point.
No. That's the biggest selling point of the magazines. The cover,
it is.
The covers and the posters.
Yeah.
This here is a German from the German series. This is a Book of Evil. Is this story? Obviously, I can't translate any of this stuff, but the artwork's pretty solid.
Yeah, artwork's not bad. Orko looks good. And Snout Spout's drawn, decent. He's not drawn like a string bean.
Yeah, and a kind of a different color scheme, a lighter tone to the skin. Of course, we still got the purple gloves and everything, but so there's just a little snippet from that, and then we get to get to some of the artwork here. So
the William George, which I had that poster right in front of me over here, kicks all kinds of ass, man, and that just looks awesome. That his water attack is knocking the top skin off of King Hiss in that illustration by William George. And this epic as fuck masterpiece, man.
Yep, we got the Monstroid there in the center, which we covered a few episodes back. So if you haven't watched that episode, go back and check that one out.
Yeah, if you're one of those assholes that says, what is Snout Spout just spraying water or something coming out of the water? Well, I give context to that in my story.
Yeah. So go and listen to that so you can get full context of what's going on there.
Look at this, man. This has fascinated me for years. This painting, just seeing Clan Champ and Snout Spout taking on Blade and Ninja at the Jaw Bridge, and Skeletor and Snakeface are just kind of watching on. And here comes He-Man, Rio Blast, and Battlecat to even the odds. Like, oh, this is so fucking awesome, dude. It just looks like the pose of like Snout Spout's taking on a fucking ninja.
Yeah.
And like getting ready to like swing his axe into him if he needs to. And it almost says that like Ninja to assume like, oh, look at this elephant guy, I can take him on. The fuck you can, dude. And Clan Champ taking on Blade, like, oh my god, man. Like, it's just it's a story, man. It's a story.
And hey,
I love this, man.
And want to say with this recording, we are past Christmas now, so hope all of you had a wonderful Christmas. Got some good stuff, or just had a nice, relaxing day with family, or just enjoying yourselves. But yeah, this is the wrapping paper that we have here. And look, hey man, he's not sad no more. Look how happy
he's smiling. He's got a sack full of toys, and him and Clancy are going to deliver it to the kids of Eternity. I fucking love it, dude. Yeah, and seeing Blade singing Christmas carols with Rock On Skeletor.
Yeah, I like it.
The Sorcerer's Man. It's
something.
I just roll with it, man. I'm like, it's Christmas, man. Everyone's getting together. See, this is the kind of Christmas special I wanted to see.
Oh yeah. Are you sure about that? I think if you would have seen Blade singing a Christmas Carol,
I probably would have taken one of Blade's knives and put it to my throat.
see,
And
this,
this work of art, man,
yeah, it's
by
from
the
Emiliano.
esteemed Emiliano. Boy, when they announced this action was coming out, when after Mattel shit the bed on the 2002 line and canceled it, and then Four Horsemen was like, "Well, can we do this?" And they announced this along with Clamp Champ and Grizzlor. Like, oh my god, dude! I'm like, I just thought about all those dumbasses who were like shitting on the character and saying he's lame. Like, look at this!
Yeah.
Eat shit, all of you. It was so fucking cool, and it was liberating to see this. And like, oh my god, look at that! And it was a beautiful design that the Horseman put together, and giving him elephant feet with the same boot, like giving him like the same color like at the gloves. Like,
Yeah.
it was so, it was unbelievable, man. And just such a powerhouse of a character.
Yeah, the stactions were awesome.
They were, man. There was not a weak link, man. The Four Horsemen, like, leave them alone and let them work their fucking magic. But
yeah, but just going back and forth between these, like the what you would have the art there, like on the card.
that was on the back. Yeah, Milano did the artwork. Yeah, and all of them were badass. All the artworks he did for the back of the packaging, and then of course every staction the Horseman put out. I mean, there were way out of the park home runs, every single one of them, man.
And then here's the
classics version.
Yeah,
absolute triumph.
And then this is the Masterverse figure. So with this little piece here, I guess I kind of get it, but at the same time, I'm like, what the fuck? But actually, I think the elephant head looks pretty good.
It's not. This is my
it's
first
not bad.
Seeing it. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I saw it in person at Walmart, it'd probably look like hammered shit. But this picture right here is, I will give credit where credit's due. It's, I probably would remove the shoulder armor.
Mm-hmm.
But the dial on his belt that would crank up the pressure, I mean, I get that like there's logic behind that, which I can't believe Mattel thought about doing something like that.
We've surprised you.
Yeah, but overall,
that's not bad.
It's not bad at all. I'm not going to sit there and just begrudgingly say, yeah, it's okay. No, I get when it comes to He-Man, I give credit where credit's due, and this is definitely one of the better. Because I mean, I'd say 99% of the Masterverse figures I saw were all dog shit. All of them. They were all just fucking ugly.
Well, it's like you said. It could be one thing seeing this promo shot. Having it in hand could be a different story.
Yeah, because once you get the actual like finished product, like, oh my god, what the hell happened?
Speaking of which, here's the Origins figure.
I've seen that before, and I'm like, that one's not bad either. It's really not, like, it looked good. They didn't, of course, I can't quite. He doesn't look like he's disproportionate either.
Well, the biggest thing with the Origins line though is just like the weird shape with the legs going into the crotch. Like all of them looks awkward.
Yeah, that's something that they have just not.
It's like I'm sorry that we're focusing in so much on it, but it just seems
it throws off the proportions of the character.
It seems like the blues need to extend all the way out here or something.
Yeah.
So it's taking up more real estate. Like it just looks like they're wearing a banana hammock.
Yeah.
Essentially. So, but overall, like the Origins figure is not bad.
No, it's not.
One of the least offensive.
I'm not going to buy it. So our listeners are like, see, you need to get into it. No, I don't need to get into it because I'm happy with my vintage and I'm happy with my classic and I'm happy with my staction. So
Tyler, get off your high horse. But but this is all of that I have for our slideshow. So once again, one of these other characters, man, that just didn't like have a lot out there of a presence within the media, prints, all that stuff. Like story wise, not much. Don't get that, and that's where you take off and all of your ideas start flowing in.
I mean, it's good to have a platform to at least have to showcase these thoughts and ideas, and it not just kind of sit in my brain and collect dust. And because I've made my peace. I'll never actually get to work on He-Man professionally.
No, you don't know.
It's been well documented that they keep it a tight circle, and when you do work with them, you have to under their fucking rules, their restrictions. if they want it to be fucking lame and castrated as a story, then it has to be lame and castrated as a story. They're not open-minded. They're very closed-minded about their ideas and thoughts. And like, this is our sandbox. You play by our rules.
Mm-hmm.
There is no, just learning how things were done on previous incarnations of the media and people who were big fans working on it. And you realize, this is not as fun as you think it's going to be, because Mattel's up their own ass about this kind of stuff.
I think that's like the biggest issue with anything, really. Once you, as far as passionate as you can be about something, no matter what, if you're involved in a certain way and have to be under certain rules, then it feels like a job. So,
and that's what it kind of feels like. If we were painting an idea here that Mattel's like, all right, we want to start some fresh ideas. We've heard about what you've done on the podcast. Like, we like some of these ideas. This is just
I know, fantasy booking yourself into a job.
Like the bubble emerges above your head here. And they say, look, we like this episode. Look, you badmouth us a lot, but we're willing to let bygones be bygones. We got rid of Rob David. We locked him out.
It would be like the at the beginning of a wrestling match where the heel puts his hand out for a handshake and the baby face is looking around.
I'm looking around. The crowd's like,
should I shake his hand?
Don't do it. You're outside the ring like, no. And we got rid of Tim Seeley. We fired his ass, from writing shitty Dark Horse comics. But we're like, we decided, like, you had some really cool ideas. We want you to write these up, and we're going to make new mini comics. We realized these were fucking lame and cheap. I'm like, Mattel, I'll do these for free. Just leave me alone and let me work my magic, and you don't have to pay me a dime. And I would. If in a perfect world where I am asked to do this, I say, yeah, you don't pay me anything. I just care about the quality.
I mean, I'll take your paycheck.
Nathan, get the money to Nathan towards the podcast. Like, I just want the opportunity to be left alone and write a 14-page story that emphasizes the character that this main comic is going to come with, make him a badass, give him an arc, something to fight for, a hot girl, respect, whatever it is, both, and depict the villains as competent villains. Making fun of or depicting him as just slipping on banana pills, like, you're killing the credibility of all the villains when you do shit like that. This is why I was so upset with the Christmas special last week. Stop taking the piss out of it. It's not cool. It's not funny.
I mean, I'm laughing.
Still doing it today with Master of the Universe.
I'm laughing because of how angry you are.
Oh, I know you are. But I would say, like, I let me do this, and like, well, you got to follow these parameters. We want you to, look, I'll include whatever characters you want, but leave me alone to make them. When we got King, if there's like, well, can you include King Grayskull? You know what? This job, you can shove it up your ass.
It just ends right there.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah,
I can't. You know what?
You owe me money now.
I can't do this.
Yeah, I can't do this shit. We're not doing this shit. And but I kind of feel like, well, what's the purpose? Why would you want me to come on if you knew I'm super passionate? I got all these ideas. I'm willing to work for free, but you're telling me I can't use Bionatops. I can't use, Eldor. I can't use Rockon and Stone Door because they haven't been released in your fucking Masterverse line. Like, who gives a shit? We're building a participation for them to come down the line.
Yeah.
Or whatever random bullshit, all these red flags you got to start following and all this stuff. And I'm like, but what is the point then? Hire that dumbass intern that's doing shit for you for free. Or whatever it is they got doing, or your cousin's second roommate, or whatever bullshit, who's working for hot dogs, out of the cafeteria at Mattel, like
hot dog and a handshake, huh?
Hot dog and a handshake. You're like, oh, okay, well, I feel like why wouldn't you want the best possible story? Why is it they feel like we got to be cheap? We're so narrow minded that we've hired this guy, and he says he had a Snout spec figure when he was 5 years old. Well, clearly he's a fan. He knows more about this line than any of us. Hire him. Give him a big fat ass salary and tell him he's in charge of every fucking thing. He can hire whoever he wants in this tight circle here, and no one else is allowed in this clubhouse.
I don't know
why. What do you gain from any of this? And none of the comic books, none of the stuff he's written is setting the world on fire. And yet there's another reboot, and they're putting out another one by his good friend Tim Seeley, who continues to keep, shitting all over the mythology there, man. Like, why do you continue to keep doing this? You keep rebooting the comic book. Haven't you fucking learned you don't have to write a fucking comic book? You can't even write shit on the wall, let alone a He-Man comic book. He'd fuck up a dick on the bathroom wall.
To be fair, though.
No, there is nothing to be fair about. To be fair, he should be, they should be let go and set pins in a bowling alley and give me the job.
I was gonna say it goes beyond. Man, it's everywhere. It's spread through everything.
I think Tim Tsz's going to be at that same big lick that Larry Houston's going to be at in February.
Oh, great!
I can take a shit in a bag and drop it on his table. Here you go. You're welcome.
All right. But with that being said, we'll put a nice little bow there on Snout Spout.
Snout Spout deserves better than what he's gotten. That drop Mike.
I want. You mean Mike drop? Not drop.
Whatever the fuck.
I'm gonna go collect myself, and while we do that, well, you guys enjoy some of these commercials, and we'll be back
from our sponsors.
Yeah. All these sponsors are lining up, especially after that. But we'll catch you in probably about 90 seconds.
In the eternal struggle against good, the evil Horde Trooper and Dragstore look pretty mean. But against Rio Blast and Snout Spout, they're nothing but a couple of drips.
That is the power of Grayskull!
Masters of the Universe from Mattel.
Silverhawks, partly metal, partly real, mighty warriors with the powers to protect space from all evil.
Bustles busting out. Shredder too. Stargazer seen us.
Figures with weapon birds sold separately.
Slybird, Surgery Report, Quicksilver, Activate Power Wings, Tallywhack, Engage Scissor Wings. Now take them down. Mumbo Jumbo Air Shot. It's hero stomping time. No way.
Buzzsaw with Shredditor, Quicksilver with Tallywhack. Other figures with weapon birds sold separately. Silverhawks, new from Kenner.
The Bionic 6. A family with unbelievable powers. Each one different. Each one with superhuman abilities that takes them on fantastic adventures.
Bionic 6. Super future family. And we're so very proud to be Bionic 6.
The Bionic 6, today at 4:30 on TV 44.
And we're back. Moving on now, Tyler, to
I got more.
No. Going to our comments that we had on our Spinner Rack Detective Comics 826 episode. Casey Duncan, that intro, so nice. Yeah.
And thanks to Nathan for putting that together.
Yeah, I had the idea. The whole thing with that is, instead of using comic book how it used to be with the Spinner Rack intro, I'm like, I want to find people reading comics and movies or TV shows and put that in there. So just take a few clips, make it like 20 some seconds, and there you go. So I'm glad you enjoy that as much as we do. Brian Clifton, love the Spinner Rack. I'm happy to see some DC content because he's always
he would. He's a big DC guy.
We'll see how you feel about this, though. I recommend checking out the Jeff Johns Green Lantern run, especially the Sinestro Corps war story. Also, avoid Bendis written DC Comics. It's like he was trying to anger fans. He should have stayed at Marvel.
When I go back and reread some of Bendis' stuff, like even though I liked a good portion of Ultimate Spider-Man, there's some fuck ups in there. Mm-hmm. Things I'm like, oh, what was he thinking there? And then New Avengers, like, it doesn't hold up. I remember holding him in the highest regard to a certain degree because of what he done with Spider-Man, and I don't. I think he's a very overrated writer. Like him and Jeff Loeb both, I think, are very overrated writers.
Any opinion on Jeff Johns and Green
Lantern? I associate him with Sir Laser-Lot.
So all right,
because that was his shitty idea. but I know Jeff Johns has written, very popular Flash stories, very popular Green Lantern stories. Like he kind of almost say kind of rebooted a lot of the either forgotten characters that were kind of dismissed or kind of not thought too much of, or he just found a way to kind of make them better or give them new life. So I'm not actually. I think I was starting to read. I think the Flash Rogue War the other night, which I read. I actually had read the first two parts first, and I never read any further than that. So which those were enjoyable, and I've heard for years about his take on Green Lantern. And of course, with most of that stuff, I never knew where to start, and then when I find out that he's palling up, or Scott Knight was palling up with him so he can get a job at DC or whatever the fuck his agenda was, like, hey, give us a character, you can create your own character, we'll shoehorn him in and make the fans like him and enjoy him, and we'll make him part of the mythology. Fuck you. So I have a disgruntled feeling towards Jeff Johns over something. I'm sure he was asked, would you like to contribute to the lines? Like, yeah, I had this character, like, well, it should have stayed that way. So I think for a long time I just associated him with that shitty character, and that they were forcing him into the new 52 take on He-Man, and making him like this Trainer of, I forgot who the fuck it was. I don't know. It was just so fucking lame and stupid, and I was just like, get me out of here. But I have dabbled in some of the Jeff Johns stuff in DC, and that's where I'll keep it. Like, I read Flashpoint, and that was enjoyable a while back. So I'll continue to read. It's just as long as he stays the fuck away from He-Man. Much like everybody else at DC who does not know how to write worth the fuck it, on He-Man or Dark Horse or anyone else working in the comics right now.
See,
have you seen the people working on the Silverhawks and Thundercat books?
No.
When I was in Pittsburgh last, I saw the Silverhawk book on the new the new issue display. Like, holy shit, I can finally look at this. They're like, oh my god, no wonder no one's talking about it. This artwork is fucking atrocious. I mean, it was beyond pedestrian, lower than juvenile. I'm like, man, fuck this book.
I thought after the break we were going to get away from some of this, but it kind of we've circled back around to it thanks to the comments that we had.
It just fucking sucks that they hire people who can't draw what the fuck. They don't draw anything that looks aggressive and alpha and badass. Like, no, it looks cheap, poor, rushed. And I'm like, I don't even give a fuck what kind of story you're trying to tell, because there's nothing I guarantee you, the art shit, so is the story.
Tyler very much in his Johnny Lawrence zone right now. If none of you have gone and watched the Cobra Kai TV show, it's like Tyler's like Johnny Lawrence right now. He's just looking at everybody's a pussy, but
yeah, because they are.
Oh my god, what a bunch of pussies.
What? One of
they're all about emasculating and pussifying all my the heroes I champion. I guess because they got pussies writing and drawing them. Yeah.
Here is one of the comments that we got in our premiere chat of that Spinner Rack episode. So as I've stated before, the episodes will have a premiere date, typically Sundays 8 p.m. back in that kind of old time slot. So if you want to join in on that chat like it used to be with the live chat, join in there. Pop in some stuff. I look at it. I'll save some things. This comes from Oliver Belmont. Tyler, who's your favorite underrated martial artist in the 80s or 90s B films? Billy Blanks, Philip Ray, Jeff Wincott, Jeff Speakman, Don Wilson, Lauren Avedon, Gary Daniels, or Michael Jai White?
Oh, Michael Jai White.
I figured that would be the one, but
most of those I'm aware of a lot of them. I just have not seen their work because it looked like a shitty movie, and I'm like, now I'm at the point where I could watch shitty movies and laugh at it.
Yeah,
because they think that they're doing something great. But Michael Jai White, I have championed for a long time as like, man, he should be one of the number one like action guys in Hollywood today, and not doing just straight to video stuff all the time. I feel like he's got the look, the charisma. I feel like he can act. I he's a better actor than what he's been given. I have that confidence in him. I would cast him as Clan Champ in a heartbeat. I would cast him as a lady man in an action movie with a big budget. Like a new Predator movie that has balls. It's not pussified for modern audiences because Disney thinks that's the right way to go. Fuck you, Disney. And I'd make him. I've built franchises around Michael Jai White. I just think he's so fucking cool, man. And he can actually do the shit on camera, like him and Scott Adkins both.
Mm-hmm.
I would push for those guys to be, top dogs and action movies, and not just, being like stuck and just doing direct-to-video streaming stuff that just gets, cast aside or forgotten, or it's hard to get attention for a lot of stuff because, well, most times it's just not very good.
And you and I are going to champion Black Dynamite.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a great movie. But man, you're so fired up tonight. This comes from Johnny Cock. Oh my God, Robin Williams Riddler. I would have absolutely loved it. Also, if he was utilized in Forever, I bet it would have been drawn out a very different performance from Tommy Lee Jones. I did not like his Two-Face at all, even back in the day. I too fall asleep relatively easily whenever I try to watch things while laying down and comfy. I was in Asia as a kid, so Santa Claus to me was more of an open license movie character. Ha ha ha, Tyler's aversion for veggies made me think of that scene in Parks and Rec when Ron Swanson was trying to eat a banana. Yeah, that is very true. And I am 100% pro pineapple on my pizza. So, hey, at least I know that I'm not alone there. But yeah, Robin Williams, it's interesting to think about. If you had Robin Williams as the Riddler in a Batman Forever and you still had Tommy Lee Jones as a Two-Face, then I agree with that. I think it would have drawn out something differently from Tommy Lee Jones. I would hope anyway.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know why they felt, well, like, we need to have both our lead villains act the same.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, you're kind of trying to dilute, like, you hired Jim Carrey because of his massive appeal and what he does. Like, you don't need someone else trying to do what he's doing.
Exactly.
And doing it badly. Like, Two-Face should have been played straight the entire time, man. Just like how he's depicted in the opening when he's giving his monologue to the security guard, flipping the coin and, you know, being very serious and creepy. Like, that's what we should have gotten the entire movie. And it's just, what the fuck, dude? Like,
yeah.
And I you know, I'm sure that was either Schumacher or the studio or both just feeling like this is the way we want to go. We want you to be as silly and goofy, like, well, but we've already got the Riddler. We got Jim Carrey. That's what we hired him for.
Mm-hmm.
But Robin Williams as the Riddler, man, I just, and it's so, and he's talked so little about being offered the Joker and the Riddler and being the offer's taken away from him. It's being like he's being used as a bait and switch.
I mean, I understand why he wouldn't want to talk about it much because it probably just fucking sucked to just not get those either one.
It does, because I me and like, yeah, I'm sure it's a sore spot, but I had always, and I remember after Returns had come out, my mom, you know, had heard stuff on the radio, which is like one of, you know, outside of like magazines, was one of the earliest times of hearing about upcoming movie casting trivia stuff. And she had mentioned to me that they're talking about the Robin Williams playing the Riddler. We were on our way to church when she told me that, like, oh my God, like Robin Williams is the Riddler. Like, I was just like overjoyed. Like, oh my, this is amazing. And even though I think back then, before he had done Insomnia and 1 Hour Photo, he still would have played it, you know, silly, but
it would have had a darker tone to it.
It would have been. Well, when you learn too that Batman Forever, it initially was intended to be a more darker film anyway. Like, yeah, they're going to lighten up because of what happened with Returns, but it was not going to be full on like make everything
Batman
silly.
And Robin.
Yeah, it's not. Was not, and then it just kind of. It's like you've got too many cooks in the kitchen, because you know there's part of that script and that movie that's gearing towards a more serious tone and feel, and then it goes right back to being silly. People are screaming and yelling and laughing with bright colors, and it's back to more of a moody, you know, dramatic tone. It's like a big compromise with Batman Forever. It's like they're just like, well, we're gonna do a mishmash of both and throw it out there, and it's not Batman Returns, and we'll just hope for the best. And it made a fuck ton of money. And why they just feel like, you know, okay, instead of just doing exactly what we did, we're going to give more of what we did. We're going to get crazier, as opposed to like, okay, that formula worked. Let's just do it again with new villains. Keep the tone, you know, kind of a mix of comedy and serious. Like, no, we're going full on comedy. Like they did that with the Turtle movies. Like the first one made so much fucking money, but the parents were all upset about the weapons and the violence. Okay, let's keep the tone straight and serious. But we'll kind of cut back on the weapons being used and more of the hand-to-hand combat. Like, no, fuck you. You know, we're gonna use Michelangelo be using sausage links to beat up, you know, burglars. You know, and they did use more hand-to-hand combat, but it was more played for laughs. You know, at times. So, but
and
forever, like I still to this day wish and pine we would have gotten Robin Williams. And there's one small clip on YouTube. I don't know what it was, obviously before he died, of course. I don't know how soon to his death, but he briefly touches on, you know, the fact that he was asked to play both the Joker and the Riddler. and that it's a sore spot because he was just used to like, hey, well, we got Robin Williams is ready to go if you don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's so fucking cruel to such one of the biggest talents in American cinema history. Someone who loved comic books, was open about loving comic books, and would have died and would have relished and promoted the shit in the most positive way to have been a part of the first Batman or been a part of Batman Forever.
Mm-hmm.
And just much like Billy D. Williams getting to play Two-Face, I just think about those opportunities that, you know what, they were thinking about it, that was supposed to be that, and we didn't get it. And, you know, it's just heartbreaking that Robin never got to play a Batman villain, because he could have done something, especially if it had been like well after, like, okay, Batman and Robin killed the franchise, we want to do something else, and then, you know, Nolan comes along and tries to make everything overly realistic with shitty secondary actors and all that other bullshit. But you know, to see a serious take on the Riddler would have been, Williams could have been, because I think he would have been more comedic, not you know, in the same vein as Jim, but different. You know, because Jim is just, you know, improvising, and of course Robin Williams is notorious. I mean, that's his gimmick, is being able to improvise great things on the fly, because he's one of the biggest, most improbable improvisation artists on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you just say you're not going to allow Robin to improvise, like, no, that'd be a fucking crime. But it would have been so interesting to see him. I feel like I see him more in the suit, like the dress pants and the blazer and the derby.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as opposed to like the singlet that, you know, Frank Gorshin would wear that Jim Carrey would do a version of.
Well, I mean, Frank Gorshin also wore the suit.
He did, like in the first episode too, which he looked so cool with the derby and the suit with the question mark. Awesome.
Let's talk about that a little bit. I only watched a couple episodes. I think it was I think I popped in. It's like that season 1, disc 3 or whatever. Because you and I both had the Blu-ray set, and I popped in one of the discs the other night, and just big smile on my face the whole time watching that stuff. It's like I text you about it. It's funny that as kids we treated it this is super serious and everything, and of course, yes, when you watch it as an adult, it's like, yeah, it's very light in tone, campy, sure, but it's so fucking fun.
Yeah.
I love every bit of that.
Julie Newmar is one of the most beautiful women on the planet, and she still plays, I think, arguably the best version of Catwoman. You know, next to Michelle Pfeiffer, because Michelle Pfeiffer's version is not a thief; she's just a very damaged woman,
right?
And it's still, arguably the best Catwoman we've ever got. But I look at her and Julie Newmar is like,
could go either way depending on the day.
Yeah, I right now I'd pick Julie Newmar just because I had such a crush on her as a kid. Like, I so wanted her to get with Batman as a kid. I wanted her to give up being a bad guy, and just because she was so fucking hot.
Yeah.
And not much has changed.
But talking that issue of Detective Comics did get us both in the mood for Batman, because that following week after that, I popped on HBO Max, and I think I watched probably 17, 18 episodes of Batman the Animated Series, and I started from the order that they had them in, which is hilarious, because it seems like every streaming platform that is on, the episode order is different on every one. But on HBO Max, I just started from the top and just started watching them. So just, man, there's so much good Batman stuff that has been that early on. I think we really got hit. It's like 60 series growing up with that. Batman 89 is probably arguably the best thing. And then
I mean, next to the animated series, it is the best.
Yeah.
I mean,
but just having that, it was boom, like 60 series, 89 returns, animated series. Great. And for me, around that time period, Batman Forever was that cutoff, because I watched it. I was like, yeah, it was good, but it's not like Returns. It's not like Batman 89. Obviously the soundtrack fucking rules.
God,
the sound, the Batman Forever soundtrack. That's the best thing about that movie.
Yeah, it's more about nostalgia with that movie for me, man. I loved it when it first came out because I wanted to get I had 3 of the 4 McDonald glasses. I had posters of the Riddler and Nicole Kidman that you could buy at Kmart. My brother had Two-Face because I was such a Jim Carrey fanatic, and I loved Val Kilmer as Batman because I was such a big fan of Willow, and I was just all the hype. I was buying magazines with Batman Forever, like being promoted on Cinescape. It was the first magazine I ever bought was Cinescape magazine. It was promoting the summer movies coming up, and I had like the movie novelization of Batman Forever. Trading cards of Batman Forever. It was and then you start to realize it's just not that good.
Over the years when you go back and revisit, that's when it really all starts to settle in. But do you remember, I think we had talked about this a long time ago, but do you remember when like Entertainment Tonight would be like, you got to tune into, we got this exclusive TV spot or this exclusive clip from
I remember seeing one for Batman Returns well before it came out.
And I always remember with Batman Forever, it was always the shot where he's
comes down to during the Edward Nygma's party.
Yeah. I was like, God.
Which is it's a great moment with Elliot Goldenthal's music kicking in, and as he comes, it's a great entrance for Batman. To come in and start taking out Two-Face's goons with this massive party going on, and the stick-ups happening. So it's a great entrance. It's a great promotional sequence to share, for sure. But we had the VHS when it came out. I was dying to get a hold of it. I dressed as the Riddler for Halloween, the following Halloween, and it was a shitty costume. Oh my God.
Man, do you got a photo of that?
Oh no, but I'll describe it to you at ad nauseum.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
I had green long johns.
Okay.
Yeah, and my dad said he would draw question marks all over them, and they were done last minute because he didn't stick to what he was going to tell me he was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I had bought. They were selling the costume. I think it was MJ Designs. I think back then, and they had the hat and they had his cane.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought the cane, and I got the hat, and Dad just thought instead of buying the costume, we'll just make your own and get. So I'm wearing green long johns. The pants are over jeans.
Because it was probably cold going trick or treating.
But that's the logic. It's like, okay, this looks clunky as shit. I'm wearing long johns already, but long johns over blue jeans because going out at night, and it was a shitty Riddler costume. But that's what I had in my heart set in my mind. I'm like, I'm trying to be a good sport about it and buy into it, and saying I'm the Riddler like Jim Carrey did. I'm like, yes, so fucking lame, man. It was bad.
Does your mom have a picture of this?
No, because I think at that time we were staying with my dad. So that particular Halloween, he took care of our Halloween costumes. He made an attempt at doing Freddy Krueger makeup for my brother one year, which was just slapped on goop on my brother's face and just painting it red. I'm like, better you than me.
That's awesome. Oh man, God, I wish I could see it. I can visualize it, but
I did go as the Joker. I think of Halloween of 1990 or 91. And my mom was so thrilled with the makeup job she did on that. Looking back at it, it was not very
Is there
good.
a picture of that?
There is a picture of that. I don't have it though.
Oh man, you gotta go talk to your mom.
But my brother went as a little pirate, and I'm dressed as. I'm wearing like it's a Joker jumpsuit with like the Joker's like
I think I think at one point didn't you have that photo on your Facebook?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, when you still had one.
Yeah.
You don't have one. Like you deactivated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember your brother being the pirate, and you.
Yeah.
I don't think
the beret and everything, and
I don't think it was that bad.
It wasn't horrible. Like I was proud about it at the time, but looking back at it, like my mom
Becky did a fine job.
She did. I would never tell her like,
You should tell her that Christmas Eve when you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, Merry Christmas. By the way, that Joker makeup you said you're so proud of doesn't really hold up. No, I mean
those finger paintings bring home suck.
I was happy with it that year. Like I didn't feel like because when you get these costumes, you can relate, and so can listeners. Like you want to look as authentic as what you're trying to be.
Similar vein to you. There may be a photo. There might not be one. I don't know. I'll have to ask my parents. Talking about Halloween costumes, especially with it being fucking cold on Halloween. So there was the one year that this is when I was rocking a flat top. And this was like third grade, third and fourth grade, but mostly third grade. I put gel in it. So it'd be like really spiky and stuff kind of how you were rocking it in
Yeah.
high school. But when is Sting? So Dad painted my face like Sting, but I'm wearing like windbreakers and shit, which I guess maybe still suitable for around that time.
No, that's not far.
Put a fanny pack on probably, and then we're good to go. But just thinking about it, it's like, well, obviously I'm not going to walk around shirtless,
no shirt on. Yeah,
cold as hell. Like there were so many cold Halloweens that I remember when we were kids.
Yeah, and I remember I had like 2 or 3 Halloweens before like the Halloween of '88, and I went as a vampire, and there's pictures of that, and my makeup is like just kind of this white mess on my face, and my mom puts gel or mousse in my hair and just mess. So I'm wearing a traditional vampire outfit with this sloppy white makeup on my face, and my hair is all moussed up, and I'm wearing my acid wash denim jacket over the cape and all that stuff. And I was so pissed off about that. It's cold. I'm like, you can't see what I'm wearing. If she had told me, well, you're dressed like a Lost Boy. What's a Lost Boy? And she showed me a picture of Kiefer Sutherland as a Lost Boy vampire, I would have rolled with that.
Yeah.
But I was just, all I knew was like a classic Bela Lugosi vampire. And
yeah.
I'm like, you can't see my costume. This is bullshit.
Yeah, you should have. If you're,
yeah,
that actually would have worked.
I don't know if my mom was inspired by that or not. I might need to ask her that when I see her. Like, when you put mousse in my hair and spiked it all up for Halloween of '88, were you inspired by the Lost Boys, or you just thought like, hey, let's put some mousse in your hair?
She's probably
all about mousse back then, putting mousse in the hair.
Oh yeah, same. She'd probably be like, what's Lost Boys?
Yeah, probably so.
Like, because do you think that's more of just our generation in that time period growing up with these cartoons and things in the late 70s and the 80s, that it's more of this generation that remembers more the movies? Like our parents probably know some stuff, but I feel like they weren't as heavily into it as
it probably didn't leave as much of an emotional impact and impression as the movies of the 80s, the cartoons of the 80s, and certainly the toys of the 80s. Like, yeah, you got parents that grew up with the original G.I. Joe line, the 12-inch figure line, and the Clint Eastwood westerns and John Wayne westerns, and Steve McQueen and Charles Bronson, in the 60s and the 70s. And I'm classic superheroes back then too, but and maybe it's because we're not looking for that stuff to say that there's not these massive fan bases for the 60s and 70s, but I feel like even though there's a lot of shit celebrated from the 70s, especially like horror movies and comics of the 70s, but the pop culture of the 80s, once you hit around like 83, 84, and it starts to get its own identity and kind of letting the 70s fade out of, what was still kind of kicking around. Like, I don't think at this point there's going to be a more celebrated decade of toys, cartoons, movies, and television and fashion than the 80s. Not the 90s, not the 70s, not the 60s, certainly not everything after the 90s is nothing but upgrades. Yeah. The 2000s on is just this decade of upgrades everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
From clothing to technology, it's just bringing back stuff, upgrading this, which you've already got. There's no specific identity to the 2000s other than upgrades. That is it. And I think it's going to be like that going forward.
Yeah. I mean, right now, Jinkos and wide leg pants are back. You walk around and even today going into a Walmart, there's some girls that are working there. They're wearing like the baggy pants. I'm like, this is so weird to me.
Yeah,
because now it's like
what we had in high school is now considered retro.
We're old, so that's.
But I'm like we don't see when we were kids and we see what older people look like. We're not that at all. Now, granted, we have.
I know. That's a weird part about it. It's.
I still think of us as in our late teens, early 20s, as silly as that sounds. But in my mind, I'm still youthful. I'm energetic. I have things. I'm like, I don't like to stay up late, not like I used to, because I'd rather just go to bed. My body's conditioned that way. But I don't think in the mindset of like, well, I'm in my 40s. I guess I better hang it up and go through a crisis of some kind, because isn't that what you're supposed to do when you hit your 40s? No.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're just gonna go buy a motorcycle or something like that,
and some expensive ass car that gets really shitty gas mileage, like it's a 2000 SUX. There's a RoboCop reference for you.
Yeah, there you go. There you
go. Like, no, I'm just like, no, I still like toys. I love comics. I still watch cartoons and classic movies, and all the current shit sucks. If that makes me sound like an old man, then so be it. But I felt that way back when I was a teenager. I'm like, man, fuck all this new shit.
And I will attest to that. Tyler has always stuck to that whole thing, and he's always had the mentality of like, this is great, this sucks. And there was on occasion where I'd be like, I think Tyler's really wrong about this, and then revisiting it 10, 15, 20 years down the line, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Actually, I hate to say this, but he did have a point here, and this is really good, or this really sucks, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, you kind of have always weeded through the bullshit and that way of perceiving. Yeah, I actually really like this a lot. And
it's never about like, I'm right and you're wrong. It was like,
no.
And I told him, I was like, look, I grew up being exposed to some of the highest quality of television, movies, and comic books, and art and action figures. And like, I look at everything else like, where's the effort? Where's the quality? Where's the care? Where's the attention? It's not here. They don't give a fuck, or they say they do, and they clearly are just not creative enough, or want to hire someone who has the creativity to do something better.
Right.
Which is why I still continue to champion the shit that Mattel just keeps, You all know that song and dance, and until things get better, it will never change. In my opinion, will never change.
Right. Yeah.
And believe me, I've given enough chances with the modern shit with Mattel, from the New 52 comic, multiple tries. Fuck this again and again and again and again. It never got any better, so I will never get pulled back into that. The way Mattel continues to handle the toy line, like, yeah, a lot of people love it because they're catching on to it. They're providing a lot of figures and vehicles and play sets. So I get why people love it and crazy about it. But I just think about there's details in the mixing that I'm like, I don't agree with this. This could be done so much better. You could make a much more higher quality product that makes everybody, not just the people who are late to the party, or who want to collect toys and want to look at things retro and don't want to pay a fucking fortune for the vintage stuff and want to get something current. Like, it can make everybody happy. It's not that hard. It really isn't.
I know.
With all this stuff, not just with He-Man, but Thundercats and Turtles and G.I. Joe, Silverhawks, Bionic 6, all this stuff can be brought back. But they just continue to put people in charge who just don't give a fuck.
I mean, I would say mostly with G.I. Joe Classifieds, they've done a really good job.
G.I. Joe Classifieds, they've done Hasbro's done they've listened to the fans, and they continue to make the line better, in my opinion. And they're continuing to emphasize, the passion for army building, putting up troop builders all the time for the Joes and for Cobra and for Destro.
R.I.P. Tyler's wallet. He's still all about those army builders, man.
And I don't have much in terms of army builders, but compared to what I had as a kid, I had one.
Yeah.
Now I'm thankful I've got like 5 Night Creepers, 4 Iron Grenadiers, 3 Range Vipers. It's something. Even though I can't constantly keep forking. There's other things I need to buy. There's bills. There's artwork. I cannot just that's the thing when you like so many lines, and even though you're not collecting hardly anything now other than Marvel Legends and G.I. Joe Classified in terms of action figures. So
yeah,
that was quite a rant.
Hey man, you've been on it tonight, buddy.
It wasn't planned. It just came out.
He's fired up. It's like, what were you watching? Like Wrestle War 91 before we did the show?
Actually, I was just watching Brave Star cartoons.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you've been kind of diving into that.
Yeah, after watching the Christmas special and deciding to watch Texas Terrible Night, I'm like, yeah, it's time for me to get back on a cycle of Brave Star. So I've gone back and revisited certain episodes I've watched and watched the movie again. And
is that pulling you back into? I kind of want to get some more of the toys.
I'd like to, but again, it's finding the place to put them.
Yeah,
that's the thing. And I just have got to be more careful of there's a bunch of toys I want to get that I've yet to purchase or that are currently available, and I don't have a place to put it. And I'm like, I want to get it. I want to buy it. I got the money to do it, but
I showed these off to Tyler. So Mezco, they're like 3 3/4. They're a little bit smaller. I think it's like 3 3/4 than compared to the vintage figures that we got. But you get just still 5 points, but you get different arm attachments, different heads. Brilliant. And usually Tyler and I in the past have kind of complained about that kind of thing, but I think in this regard, it's not that bad because it's a smaller scale. But you see here with Joker, and you get
very cool. Like it's a creative idea. Like I can forget the 5 point because I mean that's what the Kenner line was, but and the company that put out the ones that the anime series line with the 6-inch ones that were articulated.
Yeah.
I forgot what that company was, but they did an excellent job with their line of the animated series, giving us figures from the main series and like the New Adventures.
The biggest problem with those, though, is they were hard to. Some of them could just
the New Adventure figures, like their feet were so teeny tiny.
They
so it's just like they couldn't stand up, but but they were so well done. I mean, like the sculpts and everything, the colors and everything looked great. So what Mezco's doing with that, like that could cover the entire series. I don't know about all the shitty variants that were put out because they're all about shitty Batman variants and all the movie lines and the animated series, man. Bright colors, neon yellow and orange and blue and silver and just all these crazy shit. You know what? You would never pick up in the store because all you want is the classic Batman.
Yep, and man, Kenner sure did repurpose that Batcave multiple fucking times.
Yeah, but I'd have been happy to just have one.
Yeah. So I think it's like they used it for the animated series Returns, Forever, and Batman and Robin.
Batman Forever was given it was like this kind of big out. It was very small and like.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
It was just kind of this long, lengthy place.
It got repurposed like a handful of times though. Like,
but I like I said, I would love to have had the one that Toy Biz put out or the one that Kenner put out, like for Batman Returns, which I remember getting. Matt Hilton had that, and I thought it was so fucking cool. Like, because you had 2 play sets in one. You had Wayne Manor, the Batcave, well, actually 3, and then the Penguin's hideout.
Yeah,
which was really cool. So I just when you see that in the commercial, like, oh my god, this is, and I would use it with my GI Joes. I was like, man, GI Joes worked with everything back in the day, man.
I know it's what you did with the Robin Hood Sherwood Forest playset. You repurposed that and used it with GI Joes.
I did. Yeah, that was the main reason I got that playset. I mean, it would be nice to get a full collection of the Prince of Thieves figures and just put them on display together. But again, I have no place to put that now. So hey, when we got the 4K of that and you and I talked about Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, I was like, should I just buy all these figures? They're not super expensive. No, they're not.
Should I just get them? And I'm like, no, don't do it. Like, you don't have room for it. I mean, even now, I just showed off the Batman and Joker from the Mezco. So there's also Robin, Catwoman, and the Batmobile that came out in Wave 1. Got all that. But right now, I'm like, okay, I have them. What am I going to move to properly
get boxed up?
What's going to get boxed up? What's going to get put away? And that's where I am also kind of currently at. Like, this space is pretty much really the only thing existing that I can take stuff and all right, we'll add more to the shelf. Marvel Legends, Thundercats back here, Silverhawks, if Super 7 does anymore at this point, who knows? And of course, G.I. Joe Classifieds I got there in the corner, add to those, but I've also slowed down on that as well because I'm kind of reaching a point where it's like I have most of the characters that I want. I know obviously Tyler feels very differently about it. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to keep buying these, maybe some more army builders. You were even talking about, I don't know if we mentioned it when we were last week when we did the Christmas special, but I think you were talking about, this may have been prior to us starting the recording, that you're like, yeah, I really just wanted to get a classified figure to just open up and have like on Christmas Eve. Why is that? You just associate opening up a G.I. Joe a lot with Christmas time too?
No, I never got a G.I. Joe for Christmas ever. My babysitter would buy us G.I. Joes for our birthdays and Christmas gifts, but I never got a G.I. Joe like on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. It was always
so
like
changing it up, starting a new
Oh,
tradition.
it was just, because, I was like, okay, I've stopped buying G.I. Joes or action figures for a while. And I just like, look, there's, several that I have put on the back burner and save later, put in your cart and save it for another day. And I'm like, man, I really would like to pick up some of these. And fortunately, the ones that I wanted to get were not the ones that were sold out. They're like the, Budo and, Sci-Fi just came out, and I need to get the more recent Rock and Roll and Leatherneck and the new Cover Girl and the Grim Viper, which is a variation of the Range Viper, and I'm all about that. So it's just wanting to do that, but I'm like, God, I got 4 Iron Grenadiers sitting in the floor that have not been worked to the shelf, along with several other G.I. Joes and Marvel Legends I have not worked to the shelf. I'm like, I want to do it, but like, you do realize when they get here, you have no place to put them.
That's, I got the Batman Mezcos right here. I have that Daredevil figure, the black.
Yeah, I put him next to my Daredevil bust.
Yeah, that's what I was actually going to do. I just haven't unboxed them yet. I got a couple of those 2012 Turtles. Still haven't found Donatello and Raphael yet. I did get that Legends in 3D Indiana Jones bust in the mail. I'm like, all right, well, that's also another thing. What's going to get packed away so I can just set this here. Maybe eventually get some of those artifacts to put around it, as I was talking about before. I did get a poster frame, so the Temple of Doom poster will go in there. That'll go on the wall. That's a little bit easier than doing that. But I just reckon it's like I'm getting a pile again. Here we go. So yeah, a part of it on my end is just pure laziness. Like, I still have some space in here, and obviously I'll have to pack something away to make the room for it. But there is some stuff like the Daredevil figures. Like, oh yeah, that'll just go right here with the bust and like my Iron Studios statue that I got. So yeah, this gotta have to add on to the house, man. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not. No, that's way too much money.
Yeah, that's why I just continue to keep buying Kevin's artwork and like just keep.
Yeah, but even then, you're gonna have to do a thing where you're just
which I have. I'm looking at it right here, like across the room over here. Like, that's not. I mean, I've still got some I don't have on display, and it's just pretty much I've got to pick and choose. Like, I was gonna get another William George poster to have 3 of the 4. I'm like, man, I still have a double page spread he did for me that I haven't picked up, along with the Jitsu Clawfoot mini comic cover, the Hero mini comic cover, the third one, the other mini comic cover he's working on me right now. I'm like, I just had to swap out the illustrations, and I'm really proud of the mini comic covers that he's done for me.
So when you're swapping them out, like, obviously, are you just taking those ones, rolling them up, putting them like in a tube or anything? Or
no, I have these nice flat frames I get at Walmart, so I just put the prints on top of each other.
But doesn't that do anything to like the bottom surface of the one that's sitting on top of the other? You don't have to worry about anything like that?
No, I mean, the ones that are like, I've only got one that's inked right now. All the others are just pencil. And when he gives them to me, some of them are kind of they're back to back. They're not on top of each other, but
well, I was gonna say though, wouldn't that make that worse if it's in pencil? Wouldn't you have to worry about that like scrubbing and rubbing off on one another at all?
I don't think so. I mean, not that I've seen so far, but
okay. Well, be careful with that going forward.
He's done for me is on display.
Yeah,
there's only a couple that I don't have up at the moment, and as far as I think, most of these all share one frame. I mean, like it's just like one picture per frame. It's not like I just thought if I get to that point, but I'll figure out, because I got Axel's artwork, and there's still a bunch of Axel's work that I have run out of room for because of the vintage figures, Axel's work, Kevin's work, the movie posters, this over here, you know, I have to be, you know, pick and choose, man. and right now, like, you know, it's Kevin's doing amazing work for me, and like that's just a high I have. I keep telling myself, okay, this one's about done. We'll take a break for it. And they're like, oh my god, I have a brilliant idea for a Whiplash cover, and then the germ starts all over again. I'm like, oh man, this would be so fucking cool. Can we make this happen?
Yep.
You know, so
then we take that. We turn to a topic for Master Spoutcast down the road.
Which I figured, you know, if I get that one done, or the other idea I've got going on too, like we'll just make that part of the, you know, a Whiplash bio episode where we talk about the characters' depictions, and then have like a proper introduction for the character. Which like I said, that just came to me at looking at an image from a comic book, like, oh my god, this has nothing to do with Whiplash, but this would be a great depiction for a mini comic cover using him and adding these details I had come up with too. I'm like, oh god, it would be so fucking rocking, man. You know,
well, we will see how rocking that's going to be down the road when we come around to that. But Tyler, before we wrap it up, got to say once again, hope everyone enjoyed their Christmas. We got New Year's impending here in a few days, so if you got plans, if you don't, enjoy yourselves, and we look forward to seeing all of you watching us again in 2026. Hard to believe that 2026, man.
Yeah.
It just time's just slipping away. But is there anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
I feel like if we do, like, we'll keep going another 2 hours, and I got to go to work in the morning. So, I think I pretty much tapped out in terms of like what I could talk about right now. We'll save it for the next episode. I think I've ranted and raved enough.
He's ran out of topics. He's running out of space in his house. He's just running out of all kinds of things.
Yeah,
but
my brain needs a break at the moment, I guess you could say.
Well, no better time than here in the holidays leading up to New Year's Eve. But I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Make sure you like it. Leave a comment down below. Let us know all of your thoughts on Snout Spout. If you want to talk some more Batman with us, be happy to talk some more Batman. But make sure you leave a comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And until later, let the power return.
But she got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it.
Heat.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. You could always use the one that you always
Well,
use.
I was going to say, if you didn't get that, I was going to say, oh, yeah, mate, Ralph, fuck you, because it makes me feel good.
Dude, I think I would have to look at my letterbox, but I think I watched Heat. It was around summertime.
Yeah.
Think about that movie a lot, probably more so than ever, really. And it's just one of those things. I'm like, yeah, I need to just revisit that. I need to read the book because I got that book as well.
the prequel book.
Yeah, which I guess apparently
or is it a sequel?
It's a sequel, but apparently I think they're wanting to do a prequel, either a prequel movie or
I think so. Which I just kind of feel like every time these directors come back and do a sequel to a movie that was very well received 20, 30 years later, it tends to suck.
Yeah, it usually doesn't live up to expectations.
And I'm like, Michael Mann hasn't done anything good since Collateral.
I would have to look at his filmography because
he did Magic Hat with Chris Hemsworth. He did fucking Public Enemies. He's not done a ton.
Public Enemies wasn't bad.
It for something. At the time I thought, oh my god, Johnny Depp's gonna play John Dillinger and Christian Bale's gonna play the officer that's chasing him down. Like this, and Michael Mann's gonna direct. This can't fucking fail.
And then
very forgettable.
And then you were really pissed because Channing Tatum was in it, right? But then he gets killed.
But
and
then
you're like,
yeah, fuck him. You know.
Actually, there's a movie that he's in, that Roof Man. It's actually on Paramount.
I heard about that. Erica wanted to see that.
I'm interested. So probably over. We'll break the mystique here. We're actually recording this on the 21st of December, so we're acting like, hey, Christmas is already over. But during this holiday break that I'm gonna have from work here in a couple of days, that's on the list to watch. Just check out, because it's. I want to put eyes on movies that came out this year, but I'm very picky and choosy about it. I mean, maybe I go to theaters and see Avatar Fire and Ass, because that just came out.
Yeah. I'm sure that'll be setting the world on fucking fire, and then everyone forgets about it.
That's what I don't That's what I don't
That
understand.
makes no sense. No,
Let me go. Let me talk about this first, and then we'll get into that little rant before we get out of here. I'm gonna watch the extended edition Lord of the Rings because I haven't sat and just watched all three of those in so long. Actually, I take that back. I did watch Fellowship of the Ring, I think, last year. And I'm going to watch Two Towers. I never came back around to it, but I think I'm just going to sit. I'm going to watch all three
you're not
of
going
them.
to go to the movie theater and watch it?
No. Those days are mostly long gone for me. Unless it's going to be something like Turtles or Turtles 2. I'll go see Turtles 2.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be there for Turtles 2 for sure, man.
Even though obviously it's not as good as the
first
one.
It's not a very good movie.
Fuck. That 4K set, dude. Like, that first movie, Arrow Video, Chef's Kiss, bonus features, good enough. There could have been more, but that's just us being greedy. But what we got, fantastic. I actually want to watch it with his commentary.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll get around to doing that at some point. But it looks great. The little knickknacks that they put in the set are fun and nice. There's actually, if you look, they kept up with the trading card error. So it's like Donatello, but it's actually Leonardo.
Which is just like in the Tops line. I never understood that. That's fucking Leonardo.
Yeah.
They just got lazy. Like, of all the images from the movie, you could pull one of Donatello.
But I'm glad that they did that in the set. It's just like, you remember how they fucked it up.
Remember this fuck up. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't already, the Turtles trilogy came out. Arrow Video put that out on 4K and Blu-ray if you don't have a 4K player.
Purchase.
But yeah, fantastic at that. But going back to Avatar, it's amazing to me, especially with that first. I guess to a degree, the first one I get because the biggest selling point was, it's in 3D. You got to see it. I went and saw it in 3D. I was like, let's check this out. But then you find out it's basically just like fucking Fern Gully and Pocahontas and
Last Samurai and Dancing with Wolves.
And it's just crumbled up together. Here you go. That sequel did surprisingly well. I'm like, why? Like, what is the appeal to this?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And yet it's not heavily merchandised. People aren't I mean, when the first one came out, people were like wanting to kill themselves, hoping they could go to whatever the fuck that the planet is that the Na'vi are from.
The Na'vi. I don't.
But I'm like, even when I first saw the first trailer for, like, this looks like a fucking video game and a bad one at that, and I had no desire to see it. And then when I found out what it was about, like, fuck no, I don't want to see this movie. What a waste of time! Fucking 3 hours telling the story we've all seen before with these goofy looking, aliens.
Yeah,
it just looked fucking stupid. And James Cameron's just like, nah, I don't want anything original or anything new. I'm gonna keep milking this and breaking new records over and over again. And then people are like, no one gives a fuck after the movie comes out. It's strictly like something people like, you got to go see it because it's an event. And then you move on to the next thing. It does just like all the current Marvel movies and DC movies. They're not leaving impacts. People go out, turn out in droves, make a fuck ton of money, but there's no impact.
Yeah, but also when you think about it, those movies aren't making a fuck ton of money anymore. So
well, not anymore. But I feel like the first run that was well received.
I mean, but hey, that's when we were going to at that time.
Yeah, but I felt like I don't think people are going to look back at these movies 20, 30 years from now and they have this retro feel of like
maybe some of them. Of course,
I'm sure maybe some will remember like when the first Avengers came out and like, oh my god, it blew my mind when I was 5 years old and rightfully so.
Well, but that also goes into the thing because there's some other YouTubers that I watch and that circling back to, hey, you know what? We are getting kind of old because they'll talk about some of the stuff and feeling nostalgic because they watched fucking Shrek. And I'm like, I was a senior in high school when that came out. And it's like, you have to think they were 5 years old. So they're looking at that and seeing that much like how we did other things when we were 5. So it's a generational thing, but I look at that. There's some stuff I can look at and like, I can see people would look back and remember that fondly, but like Shrek, fucking Pokemon, and then now Avatar, like kids are gonna look back and like, oh, I saw the first. Like, no, you're not. That's why I feel like the things today they don't leave an impression of nostalgia anymore because it moves on to the next thing. Well, and the next thing. Well, it's more upgrades. What's the next upgrade? Yeah. Nothing is leaving you going back and wanting to revisit again and again and again and again and celebrate and buying merchandise and memorabilia and at least I don't get that vibe. Yeah, well, a lot of it ties into just the technology, the social media aspect of it. It's like you said, it's like, all right, this is here, it's popular for a minute, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. What's next? What's next? What's next? It's like
that's why I feel about movies right now. Movies is like it's not having a lasting impact on culture. It's move on to the next thing, the next thing.
Well, red letter media, what are next?
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It's and you know, I appreciate everyone's even if you're in agreement or if you're kind of on the other side of the fence, or just like, are these guys being grumpy and everything? It's like, yeah, well, maybe so, but at the same time, yeah, just everything is changed.
I think they're starting to think like they sound grumpy, but are you stopping to think why they're upset? Because they care about quality of entertainment. That's like they're pointing at the obvious, and the general public, a general person, does not think about this kind of thing. They go or they sit down and they watch. They move on to the next thing. They go take a shit and they go back to bed and get up and start the day over. Okay, what can I watch? Oh, that was great. And they move on, take another shit, and go back to bed. Like, it's not registering as something as anything great. It's just something that they killed 30 minutes with, or an hour and a half to 2 hours, and they move on. They forget about it. If someone happens, oh yeah, I watched that movie 3 months ago. It was pretty good. And that's the extent of it.
But I mean, that might just be more of just us. That's more.
Yeah, I mean,
it's more of our personality.
It's our person and our passion. We're passionate about movies and cartoons and toys and comics, and that stuff leaves an impression on us. The person down the street from you, Joe Blow, don't care. They don't care. They saw it. They killed 2 hours. Like, yeah, that was pretty good, and they move on. They go have a shitty Sunday at McDonald's and call it a night. And with us, it has a bigger impact because we care. We want to see that. I mean, when you're exposed to Ghostbusters and Jaws and Predator, Rambo, and all these Big Trouble in Little China, The Thing, all these great ass-kicking movies for a full decade, and you're like, I got to settle for this shit?
Yeah.
So fuck you, James Cameron. Why can't you make another awesome Aliens or True Lies? Like, no, I want to make
at this point,
movies.
I wouldn't want him to.
Really. No, well, at this point, I wouldn't trust him with anything else because he clearly doesn't care about making quality movies.
Go back and make some more
on special effects. I don't give a fuck about your special effects.
I mean, that was a thing at the time. You think about T2, Jurassic Park, like that. It was awesome to see that, but it's also amazing to see. Said this countless times. How the fuck does the CG in that first Jurassic Park movie still look
better
really
than any of the horse
better than a good chunk of shit coming out now? That shouldn't be that way. It makes no sense. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a lost art. And we were talking about Temple of Doom weeks back, and just watching it, man, the set designs on this look fucking incredible.
The studios get lazy. Everything's just shot on a fucking green screen. Everything's done in post-production. Stare at this tennis ball. This tennis ball's coming to kill you. Give your monologue to this tennis ball. Everything's so sterile.
And the other part of that is like they will rush. It's like, we got to get this out. You better hurry up and get this fucking done. And then it ends up being just this shoddy thing.
And then people are like, well, it ain't our fucking fault.
Yeah.
we threatened all the special effects stars. We said we were going to fire them if they didn't make the shit good. So it ain't our fault.
Yeah, it's just, it's a mess. But
that's why I don't care about the modern shit. Fuck it all.
And that's why we got the classics that we can always revisit, talk about, share with you. Hope you had a happy holidays and Merry Christmas, all that stuff.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. As we're recording this, and when you're seeing it, Happy New Year.
I was gonna say, I hope Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, I hope all that treated you well. Hope you celebrated, had fun. Be safe leading into the new year, and we will catch you.
If you can't be careful, name it after me.
There you go, and we'll catch you in 2026. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Later.
You're a claustrophobic.
You want a fist in the mouth? Mm-mm. You've never even looked at another guy before.